Hi, parents. Good afternoon. My name is Petra Dieter, and welcome to this information session. Today, we're going to be talking about this really cool activities that's going to happen in Pennsylvania in April. So, as you guys know, and before I go on, if you are watching, please let me know if you could hear me okay, and let us know where you're calling in from. But as you know, April 25th specifically is the Parental Alienation Awareness Day. So on that day, we ourselves at Victim to Hero is going to have a range of activities that going to commemorate the event, which is Parental Alienation Awareness Day. But around the country and actually around the world, there's also other organizations that are doing a lot of amazing things. And this is why we're having the event today. So today we have the honor to have Bill, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. To come and share with us what they are doing in Pennsylvania. Now, so this is not an activity by our organization, but we wanted to share with you so that you have the information so that you can participate if you find that to be relevant to you, if that's interesting to you. And then at the same time, if you are aware of any other organizations out there that are doing good works that are having activities for Parental Alienation Awareness Days, please let us know. And if we think that's the right thing, we will share that with you guys as well. So Bill, thank you so much for being here today. Hi, so you are the president of
Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice. We're a group out of Pennsylvania. We help victims of injustices. We advocate for them through meetings with the legislators, pushing for changes in laws and policies. We're very active in seeking 50-50 parenting being established in Pennsylvania right now.
Wow, that's amazing. So you your organization is not specifically for parental alienation, but injustice in general.
Yes.
Okay.
Much of our work involves helping individual victims of injustices, a lot of crime victims, but we found a connection between parental alienation and a lot of difficulties that young children deal with. We found a connection between parental alienation and bullying, parental alienation in youth suicide, parental alienation affecting youths getting involved in drug and alcohol abuse. So looking at the side effects of parental alienation spilling over into the schools and the communities, we dived into it to really create awareness of this problem.
Well, you know what? What you were just talking about is exactly what we've been talking over and over. Like, I totally agree with you. When you're looking at our society today, much of the problem today is a result of children that have been going through this form of psychological abuse. They have lost the relationship, a loving relationship with one of the parents that truly care about them, and now being placed in the hand of the other parent who is actually abusive, at least psychologically abusive. And Andre, thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear. Lisa, hi, thank you so much. Cassandra, thank you. Joe, hi, thank you so much, you guys. Bobby, hi. Dean, thank you so much. It's now I learn now. Hi, Bobby. Hi, thanks for being back here. It's nice to see familiar faces and also seeing new names. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, I just, you guys noticed that this time I'm kind of less panicking about the audio because I realized, and the comments, because I realized it takes a moment for Facebook to show me the comments. So I'm a little bit more patient this time to wait to see your comments. So thank you so much. And Octavia, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate you guys. So, okay, so something that I thought really cool about Bill, you guys, is that I just found out that he actually is not an alienated father. Now, do you guys know what this means? It means that we are getting support from outsider. That is so important. Bill, how did you get involved with this? I mean, like, why do you care? You're not one of the victims.
Well, as a group, we care about all victims of injustices, and we look to the roots of the problems. And a lot of our work involves helping children who've been abused, who have been bullied, and in looking at the causes of these problems, for instance, bullying, a lot of the children who have been the actors of bullying had learned that behavior from home. They learned it by watching their parent bully the other parent. And a lot of cases, these were instances of parental alienation. And that type of conduct that they see at home, they exhibit to their peers through bullying. They're acting out. And that creates a chain reaction with other children in the schools. And it's something that, needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, like, I was trying to say, I don't know if I finished my point. I get distracted easily. But I was trying to say is that when you look at our society today, really, majority of the problem, when you really look into it, is really to do with people that have childhood trauma that have not been healed. Like you're looking at politicians, you're looking at, CEO, executives, management, people that running companies or running teams and organizations that making decisions and managing people poorly and treating people poorly and making decisions that are harmful for a lot of people. It's a lot to do with their childhood trauma that have not been healed. And so if we can solve this problem at the root of it, we can prevent so much out there. So Bobby is talking about AC in the chat room. AC, he's referring to early childhood experiences. Yeah, so when things that impact the children at their early childhood development is going to translate into later in life. And then not just these people going to suffer their consequences, like the consequences individually, but that translate into the cost to society. Like you said, they're going to really manifest this behavior to their friends and their co-workers and things like that. So let's talk about these rights. So on April, is this going to be on April 25th?
24th. So we're doing it on the 24th, the day before, where it's a Sunday. We're going to be riding to 6 different courthouses across Pennsylvania. In the northwestern part of Pennsylvania, we're going to be riding to the Venango County Court. In North Central, we're going to be riding to the Clinton County Court. Northeastern, we're going to be riding to the Luzerne County Court. That's where the infamous Kids for Cash scandal was. In southwestern Pennsylvania, we're going to be riding to the Washington County Court. In south central Pennsylvania, we're going to be riding to the Cumberland County Court. And in southeastern Pennsylvania, we're going to be going to the Montgomery County Court. Each ride is going to arrive at the courthouses at approximately 12 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. There will be speakers there that we're currently working out the details for. We're going to broadcast the speakers live to each location, so we're able to kind of have this being a group project where all groups are going to hear the speakers from each group. After the speakers are done at about 1 p.m., we're going to invite everyone to join us for a short ride somewhere nearby for lunch. But the purpose, and the purpose of this is to, create awareness across the entire state of parental alienation. We've been pushing for the legislators to pass a 50-50 presumptive custody bill. We've been explaining the tragedies caused by parental alienation. Some of these cases have involved children committing suicide. Some of them, just have had just drastic outcomes. And the legislators just keep on ignoring this very big problem within our court system. So our goal is to create aware of this and hopefully push the legislators into doing something about it, starting with this 50-50 presumptive custody bill.
So 6 rides around the states. Do you start from somewhere together, or individual gonna ride to the courthouse and that's gonna be the meeting point?
So there's going to be meetup places all around the state, close by the different courthouses, within 30 minutes to an hour. and each group is going to ride and meet up at the courthouse by them.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So that's a lot of coordinated effort, and that's amazing, and that's wonderful because you're not just doing one route in one place, you're doing it around the state. So that's really amazing. And so I saw in the chat room that question about if we can post information because people are interested and would like to attend. But you know, they're driving right now and they can't take notes. So so maybe I follow up with you and we can post that more specific information. Is there a website that people can check out?
They can go to our Facebook page, Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice. When we have all the further details put together, we're going to be creating a Facebook event that is going to have all the different ride information for each courthouse, and you know, they'll be able to get all the information from there. But it's Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice on Facebook. They could go to PennsylvaniaBikersForJustice.com and get the links as well.
Okay, great. Okay, so follow your website or your Facebook page to get more information. And then as you guys figure out more details, there's going to be a Facebook event with details. And then for people that are out of state or people that are not able to attend, they can also watch the live broadcast of these locations on the day. And
Yes.
and I understand why you're doing on the 24th, because the 25th this year happened to be on a Monday, which make it difficult for a lot of people to attend. So doing it on a Sunday, then we can give people a chance to participate. So I think that's a good idea. Okay, so you mentioned about bringing awareness. Have you attempt to trying to bring in, for example, media to get media attention or things like that?
Yeah, we're going to be reaching out to all the local media. I'm sure some of them will be interested in attending. We're negotiating with some good speakers that are very reputable. We're not naming them yet because we're waiting for them to be able to commit. It's going to be based on, you know, their availability at that time. But we have a lot of activists in Pennsylvania from different parental alienation groups that are going to be participating in among the speakers at the courthouses.
Very good. And then is there a cost for people to participate? Do they have to pay a fee in order to participate?
Not at all. This is 100% free. This purpose of this is to create awareness. So, and everyone's welcome. It's not just for bikers. You know, people could walk, ride a car, truck, bicycle, you know, helicopter, however they want to get there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And okay, so that's great. And then for the people that are not in Pennsylvania, so I see, for example, we got Jen saying he's calling from Denmark. I think his name probably pronounced Ian. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Ian. So listening from Denmark, and then there's a question about the consequences. So I'm going to touch that in a second. And then there's people from Mississippi, Mexico City. Let's see, we have Florida. We have Inland Empire, which is California, Toronto, Canada. Now, so are you familiar with other organizations in other states that are doing similar things as you do? That these parents can reach out and participate in somewhere else?
As far as I know right now, no, there's no other biker groups doing what we're doing. You know, and that's why we felt it was about time that you know, more people get involved in something like this. We will be broadcasting it live on our Facebook page, so people will be able to, you know, view what is going on the Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice Facebook page.
Thank you. So in the chat, you guys, for people that are attending, Bobby has posted the link to Bill's website, to the organization website, Pennsylvania bikersforjustice.com. And then Mark, just thank you. Mark is calling in from downtown Long Beach, California. Thank you. So I wanted to say, Bill, I wanted to say thank you for you doing this, because really on behalf of the victims, the parents victim and the children victim of parental alienation. I'm so grateful for what you're doing, for bringing awareness, for taking initiative in doing this. So I'm really grateful, and especially like having an event like this that looks like you guys are really thinking through it and bringing a broad, sort of bigger scale awareness, and covering it in multiple locations and having it free for people to participate. So I'm really grateful and thank you for doing this. And so what can parents do apart from joining on the rides? Like, let's say people that want to volunteer, like, is there opportunities for them to volunteer? Is there anything else that they can do to help?
The biggest thing we ask for people to do to help is contacting their state senators and state representatives. They're the ones that are holding up progress from being made to address this very serious problem. Many legislators that I talk to are just not interested. They feel it's not an issue that's important enough for them. They're waiting to see what this legislator does. Let this legislator handle it. It's, not my problem. Or, and many of them are sitting back waiting to see what other states are doing, saying, well, let's see what Kentucky does first, or let's see what, New York does. And they need to realize that, this isn't something to just sit back and watch. This is something they need to jump in and do what they can to get the ball rolling to end these injustices caused by parental alienation.
Thank you. So Jennifer in the chat room says, this is great. Thank you very much. Jessica said, thanks a lot for this amazing job. Octavia said, congratulations, thank you for taking care of this. So yeah, really, everyone's really grateful for what you are doing. So have you guys done other rides, maybe not to do with parental alienation or anything like this before?
Yeah, we've regularly do rides for different types of events to help charitable organizations, assist them with their work and their mission. We've done a lot of individual rides for victims to kind of lift their spirits. Most of our rides are what are called victim visit rides. Sometimes children who've been abused or molested, women who've been raped. We kind of ride over to their homes, visit with them, help lift their spirit. And when they have to go through the criminal justice process, we'll escort them to court, make them feel safe as they're going through what is often a very terrifying experience.
Actually, that is so important because what I have found is that for a lot of parents and children out there, the experience is, like you said, terrifying, but a biggest thing is the loneliness and the sense of helplessness and hopelessness, like nobody understands and as if nobody is there for them. So the fact that you guys are there is such an important aspect of their getting their strength back together in order to fight back. So really, that is such an important job. What do you anticipate would be the participation of the upcoming event? Do you think, and what have you been doing in order to spread the word to get more people to participate?
Right now, we've been spreading the word among our members and supporters. Once we get all the details ironed out, we're going to be using social media to spread out the word. We have other groups that we are in contact with. The Pennsylvania Parental Alienation Awareness Group has been a group that we've worked with for about 2-3 years now. We attended a rally with them at the Capitol in Harrisburg back in 2019. And we've been very supportive of their efforts, and they're thrilled that we're doing this and are going to do what they can to help be a part of it.
Wonderful. I think collaboration among different groups is really, really important. So in the chat room, Bobby said exactly. Victoria said, this is so true. This is referring to your comment about being there, supporting the victims from going through this terrifying experience. I saw Robert in the chat room said, love wins, biggest ever, hugs to everyone. So Robert's actually an alienated father as well as an alienated child. Like he grew up being alienated from his mother and then later on it translated into other impact in his life, and then ended up with him losing his children. Jennifer said, I was wondering if someone would be able to write a letter that we could use if we are unsure of how to word it, then we could change and use it as reference before we send it to our representative. Okay, so this is regarding your recommendation earlier about parents, if they wanted to help, they should contact the representative. So for parents, I wanted to say something about that, which is every one of you, it doesn't matter where you are in the state, you have a number of representatives. Obviously, you have your local representative at your city level, at your county level, but at the state level, you also have always have two representatives, because every state have two chambers. It could be the Senate and the House, it could be the Senate and the Assembly, but there's always two chambers. So you have, doesn't matter where you are, you have two representatives at the state level, and then you also have the representative at the federal level, which is at the Congress level as well. So in order for you to figure out who is your representative, you can actually Google it, and it literally said, who represents me? And then you put in your zip code, and then it will tell you who are these people. And these people, because they are public officers, they are the people that were voted to represent you, their contact information is actually public. Like, you can actually contact them, and it's their job to listen to you, to address your concern and take care of you. So really, it's important for you. A lot of the time, parents don't realize this, and then we don't reach out and we don't talk. And then so they don't hear. And if there's more parents reach out to them, then eventually they're gonna go, oh, this is a bigger problem than I thought. A lot of parents are writing to me about the same problem. So then it's gonna push them to further take action, like Bill was talking about. So it's very important, like, you have more power than you realize. I'm gonna kind of leave it to Bill to take it from here. Like, do you guys have some kind of guideline for parents in order to, what do they say or what they write to these representatives?
Depending on what the issue is, many times there'll be pending legislation, such as a bill number. So we just give them the information of bill number and, contact the legislators and tell them, to vote yes for, Senate Bill such and such, or House Bill such and such. Or sometimes we oppose legislation. Just recently, there was a bill that we had opposed. It was Senate Bill 78. It's otherwise known as Caden's Law. This was a very irresponsible move by the Pennsylvania legislators. And what they did is they targeted a family who experienced a terrible tragedy. The father was seriously mentally ill. He was going through a very bitter custody battle with his wife, or ex-wife, and he ended up taking his own life and his child's life, the child that was in the middle. The little girl's name was Caden. And what the legislators did is they saw this as an opportunity to basically generate some sympathy to get this bill passed by naming it after this poor little girl, Caden. And the bill was basically drafted to create a mechanism that would quickly eliminate someone's visitation or even rights to their child based on allegations of abuse. One of the things that we've discovered in investigating matters of child abuse is that it has become very, very common that high conflict divorces will result in false allegations of abuse. And this bill would have basically put anyone with some type of criminal record, it being a simple assault from a bar fight they got into when they were 21 in college. Now, all of a sudden, they're stripped of their visitation of their children and have to jump through all these hoops. And it was also very financially burdensome, that it would pretty much exclude someone from visitation with their children just because they couldn't afford to do these classes or pay these fees. It was just very poorly thought out legislation, and it seemed to be motivated by greed. And that seems to be the ongoing situation we're seeing with these legislators who are ignoring this issue, is they are pressured by special interest groups who these special interest groups tend to profit from the business of the family court, such as family attorneys, the courts themselves. It's a very big business, and unfortunately, that business is influencing the legislators more than the poor children who are losing their lives because of terrible tragedies that come about because of parental alienation.
Thank you for sharing that. I do agree that the system is really broken, and there's a lot of things that the system reversely incentivize. So, you know, people are incentivized to do things that are really damaging for children and for parents. I wanted to go back and address Jen's question earlier. So his question was that, so earlier, Bill, you talk about the consequences, I think, of parental alienation. And he said the example of the consequences mentioned initially by Bill, are there references to the studies?
Are there references to these studies?
Yeah, that talk about the consequences of
Uh,
parental alienation.
yeah, there are definitely references to studies that could be found in different psychological journals. A doctor who I've worked with before at the Capitol, Dr. Roseman, I believe speaks many of them. But a lot of these consequences we've discovered not through reading reports, but seeing them firsthand, seeing the harm that these children have experienced firsthand, visiting these kids who've been abused because they were put in a dangerous situation after they were alienated from a protective parent, seeing these children molested because they were put in harm's way after being taken away from a targeted parent. Just these tragic stories that we haven't read, we've actually seen the expressions in these harmed children's faces from them. And that is more powerful than reading any spreadsheet with statistics.
I totally agree with you. It's very obvious. You can actually see it. It's very clear. It's undeniable, the consequences of parental alienation on the short and the long-term impact on the children. For the people that are looking for peer review studies on this, we actually have done some events where we actually walk through the literature. I will try to, I can't find it right now, but I will try to see if I can find the link to that. We actually even posted the link to a summary of a number of key studies on the consequences of parental alienation on children. And a lot of them was done by Dr. Amy Baker. So for people that are looking for it, you can go on peer review database and search for Dr. Amy Baker, for example. But I will see if I can find it, because we actually have a document where we summarize some of the key studies on the consequences of parental alienation. And you know, we give you the full citation, like the academic scientific citation, as well as a summary of what the article is about. I know that I did an event, a live event talking about it, but let me find it, and I will try to go back in and put it in the comment later on this video. So if you guys are looking for it, I will try to do that later and look for my comment later, you guys. Okay, so Candace said that we should start a movement and start filing child abuse charges against judges and other attorney. So we also have a discussion about this. We interview attorney Ashish Joshi, who talk about how they have a certain level of immunity that prevented us or parents from being able to sue the judges and even the attorney to a certain level. But if you guys wanted to look into that, we did an interview of attorney Ashish Joshi on this very topic. How do you go after the abuser for damages? And that means, we're talking about judges, lawyers, mental health professionals, as well as the alienators themselves, obviously. I don't know, do you have anything else you want to add about going after the judges or anything like that?
The best thing to do is if you can, vote them out. So certain areas, the judges have to be elected or re-elected. So vote them out. Another mechanism that could be used is filing complaints with the Judicial Conduct Board. Some states will have. It may not get you any type of restitution, but you could put that on record. But that the immunity is a very big problem, and it's going to be very difficult to convince the legislators to remove that immunity. But if anyone is going to be able to do it, it's going to be the senators and state representatives.
Right. So I also wanted to add something in there. Bill was talking about, filing complaints and things. It's very critical for targeted parents if you do choose to do this, it's very important for you to step back a little bit. And when you do write this, to be less emotional, because a lot of the time, because you are deep in the middle of it, when you write a letter, you don't realize what it reads like. You want it to come across as someone that's logical and with a compelling story or a compelling reasoning for people to care about it. Or you don't want to come across in a way that seems so emotionally like as if you are full of drama and emotionally unstable. So if you do write these sort of complaints and things like that, for it to be effective, definitely try to step back a little bit and trying to look at it a little bit more objective, like at the bigger picture, if you can. So I saw that Lisa said that she can send people a letter of reference of how to write to representatives. So she put her information in the chat room. So if you guys want to check it out. Jennifer said, excellent information, Petra. Do you know how we would personally find out the bill number in our state? Yes, Jennifer. So every state government have a website. And on that website, there's information, really all the information that you ever need. Actually, it has all the senator's name, all the house rep names, and then they have their calendars, they have their bill information, etc., etc. And they have and sometimes they even stream live their meetings. They don't stream everything, but they do. A lot of them do stream their hearings, things like that, their voting and all that kind of things. But for a lot of parents, to make it easier, there's another website. It's not a government website. This is a private entity. It's called, I'm going blank right now, Legiscan. I'm sorry, legiscan.com, I believe. Let me just look it up for 1 second. Yeah, it's legiscan.com. So with Legiscan, what you can do is you can go in there and you can actually pick a particular keyword, and then you can search for bills in your state, in any states that you want, relating to that particular keyword. And then you can also set up alerts. So anytime there's a bills or activity relating to bills that have that keyword, they will email you. So that's a handy sort of tool out there for parents who wanted to follow, legislation activities. Now, I do wanted to alert parents, though, that if you do use Legiscan, please be aware that it's a private website. It's not a government, it's not an official government website. So sometimes I would see parents put a lot of time and effort, go into Legiscan, and they would put their testimonial in it. So, you can put all the comment in there, but legislators will not see those comments because this is a private website. So if you wanted to really bring attention to legislators, you actually have to either go and testify when they have a hearing that they allow public testimony, or you have to go and contact the legislator and talk to them or email them and submit your comment, etc., etc. So do anything that in terms of communication, you have to do directly with the government, but you can use Legiscan as a tool to keep track of things, activities, and things like that. We found that it's pretty up to date. Sometimes it's a little bit lagged, maybe by a day or so. So really, if you are comfortable, the best place is actually the government website, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult for parents to navigate. So, Legiscan is an easier tool. So definitely, Bill, do you want to add anything else to that?
Sometimes it's good to just go right into your senator or state representative's office. Go in, and if they're not there to talk with you themselves, which is most of the case, at least one of their staff members could sit down with you. They could pull up the information for you and even print up some copies if there is any co-sponsorship memos or any bills pending.
Exactly, right. So they will, usually there's always some, especially during the session. Now outside of the session, sometimes the office might be closed, but during the session, the office will always have somebody there. And it's public office, so you are allowed to be there, and you are allowed to, there have to be somebody to talk to you. So definitely do that. Now for people that are following us, our focus is mostly in Texas. So for people parents that want to participate and help in Texas, we maintain a mailing list, and the bills that we follow and we support or we fight against. So when it comes to the time, we actually communicate to this mailing list, and we'll tell you exactly who to contact, what to say, when to say what, and what phone number, what email address, or what office to go to. We also let you know if we go somewhere and we need you to be a part of that meeting, things like that. And we have had parents and adult children of parental alienation turning up to these meetings with us, which have been really helpful. So for people that are following us in Texas, and if you wanted, guidance, and if you want to support us, definitely join our mailing list and let us know that you are from Texas, so that we can include you in this community. We do, I'm not biased at all when it comes to Texas. I want to change the law everywhere, but right now, because I don't have enough really bandwidth, so I'm focusing on Texas right now. But really, if you are from other places and you wanted to find advocates in your state, let me know, and I will help direct you to those states. And I will also direct you to Bill if you're in Pennsylvania, and Bill can also help direct you to other advocates in Pennsylvania as well. Right, Bill?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Kenneth said not suing the judges, but file criminal charges. Yeah, it's the same thing, Kenneth. In terms of, they have immunity, like the judges have immunity, that you can't file criminal charges against them for them ruling something. You have you can take to the appeal court to appeal their decision if you believe, or if you can prove that they make their decision incorrectly, or you can file complaint if you believe that they have an ethical issue. But filing criminal charges is difficult because of the immunity. The same with civil court, where you're trying to sue them for damages. It's the same thing. The immunity preventing you from being able to sort of touch the judges or the court appointed,
Guardian ad litem.
evaluators. Sorry?
Guardian ad litem.
Exactly. Yeah. Any court appointed people have a certain level of immunity, or like social worker, for example, from child protective agencies and things like that, family services, they all have their immunity that protecting them. Okay, Victoria said, what about the city? Could you clarify, Victoria? I don't think I understand your question. What do you mean by what about the city? Or are you asking about representative? Your city have representatives. Okay, so you have representative, and I assume this is a question. If not, let me know in the comment, okay? So you have representative at all levels. So you have representative at your city, your county, your state, your federal level. So the thing about the city, though, is cities, their duties is different than the state. The state level is to do with legislation, which is about changing the law. The city is a little bit more ceremonial. So that's why with city, what we do is that we show parents how to ask for the proclamation. So what the city can do for you is like we teach parents how to contact the city mayor offices, and then they will produce a proclamation to get you recognize that Parental Alienation Awareness Day is on April 25th, and that parental alienation is damaging for children, etc., etc. We actually have a Zoom call where we teach parents how to do this. We also have the template for the letter, and we have step-by-step instruction on our website, victimtohero.com. So if you wanted to go on there, you can find information how to do that. If you want to get your city to provide you with this proclamation, to show that they support parental alienation awareness, then you want to do it now, because April 25th is coming very soon, and city is a bureaucratic organization. I mean, it's the same with the state, and it's a slow moving machine. So you wanted to give them plenty of time so that they can actually create this document for you by April 25th. Okay, Jennifer said, whoa, there are so many guilty parties. This is a big fight. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of people involved when it comes to family court issues and children, and actually behind the scene is very complex, and like Bill kind of touched on the surface, there's a lot of money involved. The system, different people are being incentivized to really do, making things a lot worse for parents and the children. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be a simple thing. And then we're talking about the judges, the therapists, the lawyers, but then behind the scene, there's also this, like Bill was calling that special interest group or radical activist group that also have motives, because they get funding from the government, they get funding from training courses, from all these things. So they also have motivation to actually pushing things the wrong way. So unfortunately, we are up against a really big fight. And this is why I'm so grateful for Bill and his organization, because he himself is not a targeted parent. He's not a victim, and yet he's supporting this, which is so important, because a lot of the time, it's very difficult to find other people, other organizations that are not directly about parental alienation to support this cause. And this is why I'm so grateful, really. Okay. Cassandra said, what if a mayor tries to use her power to help alienating parent? I'm not sure I understand the question. It sounds to me that you're asking what to do if you have a government official who is using the power, abusing their power. Now you back into the situation of being able to prove this, being able to file complaint and dispute at the appropriate organization, because so it doesn't matter who you're working with in the system, right? There's a hierarchy in the system where each of these person or organization have to address or answer to. So for example, the judges and the lawyers, they have their board that they respond to. So that's a place that you would file your complaints and grievances. So the mayor, they might have, I'm not sure with what city, Bill, would you be familiar with? Where would you file a complaint against a city mayor?
Probably within the city municipal building, or
yeah,
something like that. I don't know what type of situation there would be that a mayor would have the power to create some type of court order responsible for parental alienation. But I guess if there was a complaint office within the city, that's where you'd file the complaint against the mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not entirely sure how much the mayor may have in terms of the power, but you never know. They have connections and power and things like that. But yeah, definitely look into the city. Like, it doesn't matter whoever that you're dealing with, look at the organization that they are in and look at the hierarchy, because everyone is answering to somebody else, and everyone, there's a grievance and complaint structure. There's a particular department or organization and the procedure that you have to follow to file this. So, you have to look into that specific. Okay, Jennifer said, I find that when you reach out to local politicians and your mayor, some will get back to you. Usually their assistant, and I have great luck here in Jersey. Yeah, for sure. Parents don't realize this. You can reach out to politicians. They do listen, they do answer. Sometimes they may not listen for a long time, and you might have to keep saying it over and over again. Sometimes you might have to bring all your friends and families, and you might need a lot more people to say it over and over again. But, if there's enough people saying it, they will have to do something about it, because their business is staying in the office, and to stay in the office, they need votes. So if it looks like there's a risk that there's a lot of people supporting something, they will change their mind, because they are there to win these votes. So yeah, definitely.
So
Okay.
one thing that we did do is we helped a targeted parent get a meeting with her senator. So sometimes uh, people who are going through injustices that are having difficulties getting a meeting with their state senator, state representative, we'll help them with that and even escort them to the visit. So we sat in with this woman with the visit with her state senator and, provided her the moral support as she told her story to her state senator. Um, so, there's lots of people who can not only help you get that meeting set up, but provide you that moral support during the meeting.
That is so awesome. I love that story. And you guys, that's so cool because, whether we like it or not, there's certain people that have certain bias toward bikers, right? I mean, there's a stigma that bikers are sort of like gangster or, like bad people. Not everyone have that, but there's definitely a little bit of that. And yet you guys really portray yourself as a heroes, right? The opposite of that image. You are there to protect people. And I love that story. Thank you. So Jennifer's in New Jersey. So Bill, if you know of advocate groups in New Jersey, please let me know. And I'll give you the link to this video later so that you can check the comments and questions. And if there's anything that you can respond, please help responding to the parents so that they can get more information. And Jennifer, I will look into New Jersey and I will see if I can respond. Also, Mara is from North Carolina. So again, the same question. If there's advocates that we can refer Mara to. Kenneth said, I will agree to disagree. If a judge sexually abuses a child, they will not have immunity. Okay, Kenneth. Okay, I was talking about immunity as into their decision in the courtroom. Now, what they do personally outside the courtroom, yes, that's definitely separate. Yeah, if the
That's
judge sexually abuses a child, yeah, that's their personal conduct. Yes, they are told have no immunity with that whatsoever. They're being treated as a normal human being. But I'm just talking about immunity when it comes to, let's say they rule the custody in a certain way that you're not happy with. It's very difficult for you to file criminal charges or civil lawsuit against them because they have immunity protect them from how they make that decision. I
so
think Bill.
anything within the scope of their position, they have immunity for. Now,
Yeah.
there was the cases I mentioned earlier. It was called the Kids for Cash scandal in Luzerne County. This happened, a bit over a decade ago. And some of the judges there were getting financial kickbacks for sending children to a juvenile detention center. By them getting those kickbacks, receiving bribes, that was outside of the scope of their job. So they were able to be arrested and prosecuted and sent to prison for accepting those bribes. But for judges who are making unfavorable decisions while on the bench or unfavorable rulings, anything like that, that's all within the scope of their job. They can't be sued for any of that.
Right, right. Okay, Victoria said, can you sue the city? So I have seen cases, many cases where people sue cities. So I'm going to assume that you can. I don't know enough. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to claim that that's, a legal advice in any way. But it seemed that I have seen cases where people sue the city and even child protective agencies. There have been people that sue those organizations. Yeah.
Well, the city isn't responsible for the court. That's usually the state is responsible for the court, and the state is going to have the same immunity as well because they are pretty much the I guess you could say the business that the judges are working for. So they're going to get the same type of protection. Um, you're not going to be able to sue anyone for their unfavorable decisions in the court. You're not going to be able to hold the state accountable. The only thing you can do with the state is push them to change the laws or use your vote to vote them out of office. So a lot of things we push for is these legislators who aren't doing their jobs. We push people, don't vote for them in the upcoming election. Vote for someone else. Stop voting for the same person every election, expecting different results. So that's my advice is, use your vote to change these legislators. Use your vote to keep these bad judges out of office. And that's going to be the best way you're going to get any results.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is a lot of the time parents will not participate and they will not go and vote because you essentially giving up your power without knowing it. You don't realize that it could be that one vote. And then when you get your friends and family to support you and vote the way that you want as well, that adds up. And then, that can make the change. So really, really start taking power in your hands and driving things in the right direction, because it may not help your personal cases, but it could help somebody, the next person. And if we as a cause all doing the right things, then eventually the movement is going to make the difference to the future. So Mara said, I would like to learn how to do the proclamation. Mara, if you go to our website, victimtohero.com, and then you just go, there's a search bar on the top right, and you just type in proclamation, you will find that we have a post there that we show you step by step of where to get, who to contact, where to get the information, and the template with the exact language of what you need to write. So look into that. And then we recently did an event where we trained parents how to do that. We're probably going to do that again soon. So just if you're not on our mailing list, join our mailing list so that you know when the next event is going to be. It's not going to be a live stream event. It's a training session. So, and it's free for you to participate, but it's a Zoom call that you can join, and we'll show you exactly what to do with that. Okay, Jen said, thanks, Petra. I fully acknowledge the possible consequences of parental alienation, and I'm aware of Amy Baker's research. I was curious about if there has been there have been new published studies. Jens, the most recent studies that I am familiar with was one by Jennifer Harmon, Mandy Matheson, and some other person, I forgot the name, that talk about the experience of the child, of the alienated child. I don't know if you're familiar with that particular paper. I forgot the name right now. But in there's a particular graph that I call it sort of like an onion graph. It's not called an onion graph, but because it has all these different layers of these different loss that the child experienced. So I call it the onion because it's got multiple layers. If you're familiar with that paper and have seen it, then you have seen it. But if you're not, then maybe look for that, because that's a brand new paper. It's only came out, I would say, maybe a month or 2 months ago. So that's the latest one that I am aware of. There may be more. I'm doing a literature study to kind of check for these, and so if I find something else new, I'll let you know as well. But that's definitely a good question, and it's a very valid question. So thank you, Jens, for that. Okay. Okay, Octavia said, Doctor, I hope that you can repost this video on YouTube. This story needs to be shared, and thank you, Bill, for this very professional approach. Octavia, yes, I'm going to try to post this. Let me double check. I think, yes, we are recording. Sometimes I forget to record and then I can't post it on YouTube, but I am recording right now, so I will post that on YouTube. Okay, Victoria said, blessing to you, Bill. Kenneth said, but if they rule to sexually abuse a child or rule to psychological abuse a child, I do not see a difference. Last question on this topic. Kenneth, it's really difficult for a judge to blatantly rule for a child to be sexually or psychologically abused. When they rule something, they have their justification. It doesn't mean that they are right, but like I said, if they are ruling something that could potentially cause psychological or sexual abuse, which does happen, because there are sometimes judges make decisions that lead to children getting killed and children getting molested and all that. That does happen. So if you see a situation like that, again, unfortunately, even though they made a wrong decision, they are protected by the immunity. So the procedure for that is, if you see that situation, the procedure for that is, like I said, if it's ethical, you go with the complaint, but as the other option is also to file an appeal to revert that decision. So you follow the court procedure and go to the higher level. So instead of staying at the district level, you now go to the appellate court level, so that you can then hopefully, justify or like point out the wrong decision and then reverse that decision.
So
Yeah.
on that, a lot of parents do ignore that option that they can't appeal their decision. And that's a very important option that they should exercise. The more people that will do it, the more attention that will be brought to a judge. So if they're finding that a lot of a judge's decisions are being sent up to the Superior Court or Supreme Court for reviews, that's going to shed some concern on a judge if there's enough of those being appealed. So definitely encourage any targeted parent to utilize that appeal process.
Yeah.
One of the gentlemen I've worked with, his name is Tim Schilling. He was a pro se targeted father. He was very, very persistent with his filings going up to the Superior Court and Supreme Court. And, he didn't have any legal background or legal training, just searched Google and, learned things on his own. And he eventually did gain 50-50 custody of his daughter. But it took persistence and it took utilizing that appeal process. So very important that people do know that they do have that option and do exercise it when necessary.
Thank you. Totally agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. And so if you do have a court decision that you disagree with and you wanted to pursue the approach of, going up to the appellate court, I wanted to say that there's a very strict deadline. There's a window, there's a time window that you have to file by. So make sure that you're on top of that. Definitely try to make sure because otherwise you lose that opportunity, because there's a limited time that you can appeal a court decision. Yeah, so I think the questions, it seems that we addressed most of the questions. So really, and also we've been running for more than an hour. So I wanted to really thank you, Bill, for being here and sharing this really important information. Thank you for your work, for your support on this cause, especially as someone who is not a victim. I'm really grateful for that. And really, I really love the approach of having a larger scale, so you're covering like the whole state instead of just one place, and having spreading the word and bringing awareness. So thank you so much. I'm really wishing you all the best on this effort. If you know of other organization, it may be other bikers group in other states that maybe they're not doing this, that you could talk to them into doing this, or if you could introduce us that we can talk to them into doing this, please let us know. And like I said, I'm going to give you the link to this video so that you can comment or give parents more information about the rides or anything like that. So thank you so much, Bill, and thank you so much, parents, for being here today. I'm grateful for you. Please, if you are not on our mailing list, please join our mailing list on victimtohero.com website. And again, feel free to comment and questions. If you missed something that I missed to post any question, just go ahead and post it, because I like I said, Bill's gonna check back later to answer your questions. So feel free to comment and then help us spread the word by liking this video and sharing this and let people know about the rights. I think it's such a great idea because we are bringing awareness, but in a manner that's pretty positive. This is not, we're not sitting there complaining, we're not sitting there throwing rocks, we're doing something that's actually kind of fun. So I think that's a positive way of approaching this, and I think that's a good idea. Thank you, everyone.